Tulasi plant is worshipped, just like God is worshipped. Then Bilwa tree is also worshipped. There are other trees also. In fact, I would like to tell you that altogether there are 27 stars. In the name of each star, there is a specific tree traditionally, astrologically identified in our land. If you belong to a certain birth star, you also are related to the tree corresponding to that star. All our divine days, say all our Utsava Dinas, they are all associated with the planetary positions in the sky. The Kumbh Mela is particularly like that. We don't worship in any other manner. Everything is related to nature, related to creation, and ultimately to the Creator. So this worship is only a means of accessing your own mind, heart, intelligence, ego, and the beyond. You must be able to land on your own self. That is why he said, after worshipping, whatever residual elements are there, take all of them, put them on your head, and withdraw divinity from the object you are worshipping into your own heart. So the worship begins from you, and the worship concludes in you. Evam agni arkato yadau atithau hridaye chayah yajati ishwaram atmanam. Whoever is worshipping in this manner, whom Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, the Lord of the universe. Who is that Lord? Atmanam. What shall I say now? Ishwaram Atmanam. Atmanam Ishwaram. Whenever the word God is used, juxtaposed is the other one, the self. The self. Sreemad Bhagavatam does so unfailingly, repeatedly, in many a place and occasion. Yajadishwaramatmanam ajiran muchyate hisaha. If this kind of a worship is adopted and pursued, before long, the worshipper gets liberated. Mark the word used by Sreemad Bhagavatam. Ajirad saha muchyate. The worshipper gets liberated, freed. Freed from what? Freed from the shackles of the mind, the emotional tussles of the mind. Desire makes a tussle, hatred makes a tussle, fear makes a tussle. Then you have jealousy, competition, etc. All these are tussles produced by your mind. The psycho-intellectual shackles, he gets freed from that. Vaikuntha is not mentioned here. Kailasa is not mentioned here. On the other hand, it emphasizes what? The freedom that your mind, intelligence and heart will be able to experience and rejoice in. This is the goal of devotion. When we have a pure and brilliant mind, because of the purity and brilliance you will find, the mind itself will start dazzling and radiating joy, ecstasy, exhilaration and exaltation. The mind will always be producing this. Similarly, when the intelligence is very clear and brilliant, you will be able to find only godliness, the supreme reality, Brahman, everywhere, all around. Our own body is actually radiating heat. A dead body will not radiate heat. The radiation of heat from the body clearly tells us that there is a presence of divinity, the self and God in it. That is what generates heat, generates speech, generates sensations, brings about thoughts, feelings, emotions, knowledge, doubt, assertion. All these are either external or internal qualities and expressions, emergences caused by the presence called God or the self. Evam agni arkato yadau adithau hridaye chayah yajadishwaram atmanam ajiran muchyate hisaha. So where from did we start? First, our worship is associated in the images and idols we choose or we like. Then it is extended to the Panchabhutas. Thereafter, it is more vibrantly related to the guests who arrive in your house. Finally, it goes to the devotee's own heart. You have to find out whether your heart is becoming more and more divine, more and more spiritual, more and more devotional, and more sublime. Devotional pursuit cannot be a time-oriented or a place-oriented affair. Initially, you may choose to worship for half an hour, maybe in the morning, and you may worship an idol. But mind you, you have to become a worshipper. That means you have to become a devotee. That devotion must be a quality or a character of you. So wherever you go, like breath, this quality also will follow. So the transformation should be in your own heart. Worship the Lord. Recognize repeatedly that this Lord is no other than the presence called the Self. There is one presence or a power which animates and activates your body. That presence is denoted by the term I, and that is really the Self. Now he says, if this kind of an expansion, inwardness and purity takes place, then you will find the devotee will be freed from all bondages. Do not think even for a short while that worship of God ends with puja done for an image. It is never so. If you are a worshipper, you have to very soon extend your worship from the idol and extend it beyond the worship time. So 24 hours of your life, except the hours of sleep, you should remain a worshipper. You should remain connected to God. So you start practicing worship with half an hour in front of an idol. But it is to make you a worshipper. If you are a worshipper, you have an allegiance or an affiliation to God. It may be in the form of a love or a respect or a kind of a fearful feeling. Whatever it may be, I belong to God. The entire world is of God. I am only a small product or a being in the world. If the entire universe belongs to God, it is God's, I am also God's. This kind of a thought should occupy your mind sooner or later. Always understand, your devotion has to be broader, it has to be deeper, it has to be more extensive. The idol is always something material and visible. You start with an idol, but you go on elevating it, raising it to the very source of it. Suppose you have a stone idol. Think for a while. What is this idol? It is something that the sculptor has made. What has he done? He has taken a piece of a rock. What is this rock? It is in the mountain. And what is this mountain? A part of the earth. And what is this earth? A small planet in the whole hierarchy of things in the universe. So you have to extend your thought and imagination in this manner. So when I look at the idol and then say, my God is in this, then how much is the presence of God in the huge rock, the mountain, the earth, and in the space? Think in this manner. So you have to worship the Bhutas directly. Thus we look at the fire, we look at the sun, we look at water, we look at space, sun, moon. As earlier, Kavi said, Kham vayumagnim salilam mahim cha jyotim shi sattvani dishodrumadin sarit samudramscha hare shariram yatkincha bhutam pranamed ananyaha. Everything from sky, space onwards, down to the earth, and the different living beings. Not only that, plants, trees, herbs, roots, everything is included in the body of God. Thinking in this manner, you start prostrating before everything he says. Then you have to be courteous, well behaved. See, you have freedom with your house members, family members. When a guest comes, you cannot be unnecessarily irritable or otherwise. So the arrival of guests and making them feel happy in your house is something like a behavioral sublimation for you. So that is also included. See, we have got temple rejuvenation and installation ceremonies here. They are all done according to a very specific science. In this part of the country, I can say this is governed by some scriptural texts, maybe as old as the Vedas themselves, called Tantra Samuchaya, etc. Normally, we are not people who deal with these rituals and the like. But when I go to the temples, sometimes I make remarks about what is a temple, what does it represent, How do you install a deity? And how do you impregnate the deity with divinity? So the whole deity receives divinity which you generate in your own heart by contemplation, mantras and tantras. Tantra means gesticulations of the hand in this manner, etc. And mantras are uttered by the mouth. And they are really designed, and also they are occurring, emerging in the mind. So making use of your own inlying power and brilliance, you generate divinity and pass it on to, impart it to the deity. And then you say, the priests say, now the stone has become an idol god. You can pray to him. So the entire process is like that. So in such installation and rejuvenation ceremonies, the washing of the feet, they generally say Brahmanas, that is something very important. See, even in giving divinity to the idol in the temple, pleasing the people who have come there, Brahmanas, washing their feet, feeding them, this constitutes a very important part. Anybody who is hungry, you give food. When the hunger is appeased, whether he speaks or not, a blessing flows to you. Similarly, a withering plant or even non-withering, you pour water and the plant survives with health. It is a matter of blessing for you. Never doubt it. Now, in the matter of understanding that the whole world is God, there is a lot you have to know. We are worshipping the deities on the one hand, idols on the one hand. Not only that, we consider some places to be holy, and there are holy waters. Tirtha sthanas are there. Now people from the south will go to Varanasi, and they consider it to be something very great and holy to have a dip in Ganges there. That holiness they don't feel anywhere else. Now all these are there. But you should understand, why are we doing all this? When you go and have a dip in holy waters, what are you dipping or bathing? Only the body. And you want purity for the body or purity for the mind? So, do you think the waters will enter your inside and touch the mind? Suppose the water goes inside, you may even die. So you have to look after, close your mouth and close your nose. Then only you can have a dip. So the water is bathing only your body, and when you get up, it starts sweating again. So what is that purity? The feeling and fervor with which you go to Varanasi and have a bath in the holy Ganga, that feeling is generating the divinity. It is not other things. It is by virtue of the law of association that when you go to Ganges or when you go to Varanasi, you feel fulfilled devotionally. It is a law of association. Now, what actually is the pure element here? Listen to what Vasishtha says to Sri Rama. Yasna tashita sidaya sadhu sangama gangaya kim tasya danaihi kim tirthaihi kim tabobhihi kim advaraihi yasnataha shita sidaya sadhu sangama gangaya. Generally, we attach a lot of importance, as I said, to Ganga, the most holy and benedictory river we have. Our whole dharmic civilization sprouted in the Gangetic plains, because that was one perennial river with very pure water, which had a long belt, and people started living there. Anywhere we want to live, we must have water, and we must also have cultivable lands. Otherwise we won't be able to live. Minimum we require food, some clothing also. All these will be possible only when water is there available for irrigation. So in the Gangetic plains, our civilization, cultural civilization emerged, sprouted, grew, and even got climaxed and fulfilled. Right from those times, we have been considering Ganga to be a place and an abode of worship. I don't know. I am a South Indian by birth, though I have been traveling always in the north, speaking to North Indians. You know, the type of devotion we see in Haridwar, Rishikesh and other places, The devotion particularly they feel towards Mother Ganga is something to be seen and appreciated. Every day the Ganga Arati is witnessed by thousands and 10,000s of people. How many people come there? And when they start playing through the loudspeaker, the Ganga song, everybody will be feeling a devotional fervor and ecstasy. This is what happens. Our gratefulness to the river, so much. Actually, this river gives us water for maintaining our life, preserving our life. We have attached a sense of divinity. Such divinity is there in our tradition towards Mother Earth and wind, generally water everywhere, then sun, moon and fire. We always look at all these elements, Panchabhutas, with a sense of divinity. Some of our temples are on very high mountain tops. We trek there with a lot of feeling, that is called austerity. A temple in the plain, you can drive through and reach there. But if you have to reach the temple on top of a mountain, then you will have to trek a lot. You know, people go to Shabarimala without any chappals. They start traveling from Malaysia and other areas without any chappals because they like that austerity part of it. So, going to holy places, having a holy bath is a very important item of our culture. But when we come to discuss God realization, the progress and fulfillment of devotion, the meaning and purpose of worship, and what is the way of fulfilling true worship, then I think we have to transcend these levels and stages. That is why Vasishtha tells Sri Rama, who was only 16 years, he was a young prince, Yasnataha Shita Sitaya Sadhu Sangama Gangaya. Whoever takes a bath where Shita Sitaya Sadhu Sangama Gangaya, in the holy waters of the association with the wise people. The moment you go to see a wise man, a knower of truth, a Tattvajnani or a Maharshi, the very approach to him and seeing him, really the mind gets bathed. What do you mean by seeing? The eyes are inert. They are only helping you to see. The actual seeing takes place in the mind level. The mind opens the eyelids and the eyelids are turned in the direction. So when you go to see a Mahatma or a knower of truth, the very trek towards him, you see. That seeing really bathes your mind. And he says, in the cool waters of satsang, in the cool waters of sadhu sangama, it is much more holy and much more comfortable and cooling than what is Ganga. The Ganga bath is for the body. The sadhu sangama bath is for the mind and the heart. So whoever is able to take a plunge, take a dip in the waters of sadhu sangama, Shita Sitaya, it is very cool and comfortable and also sweet. Kim tasya danaihi, kim tirthaihi, kim tapobhihi, kim adhvaraihi. All these are different elements of ceremonial religion. Dana, giving gifts to people, chanting holy mantras. Tirtha, having a bath. Tapobhihi, performing hard and severe austerities even. Kim adhvaraihi, by performing yagas, etc. So the yagas on the one hand, austerity on the other, holy bath on the other, and giving away your hard-earned money in the form of dana. All these things are not necessary at all. The real purpose is to purify our mind, bring about sublimity and refinement in it, and this is best had in the company of the wise people by exposing yourself to their words of wisdom, their words of truth. Now Krishna, he makes some statements about how holy and how great the wise people are. Their company, their sight, their association, listening to them, trying to serve them, be of service to them. This is appearing in Sreemad Bhaagavatam itself in the 10th skandha. What is the occasion? Syamanta Panchakam. That is the place where this occurred. Coming to know that there was to be an eclipse and it was impending, all the people from the land of Mahabharat, this Bharat, they started trekking there, going there. Semanta Panchakam. Even now it's a very holy place. They all went there. It is in Semanta Panchaka that Parashurama performed austerities and sacrifices to purify himself. You know, Parashurama was a Brahmin and he became intolerant of Kshatriyas who were wicked people and who were self-conceited. So he wanted to destroy every one of them. And so many Kshatriyas were killed and the blood started flowing. It is the Puranic language. And all the blood was collected. He converted them into Tirthas, holy places. This is the legend that tradition associates Semanta Panchakam with. So people go there on the solar eclipse day and they have a dip in the holy waters. So all the people had gone there. How many people were going? Kings, emperors, brahmanas, sages, ascetics, high degree of tapaswins, scholars, all of them started going there. The Yadavas also proceeded along with Krishna and Balarama to the same place. Gopikas also had gone there from Vrindavan. Along with Krishna and Balarama, the Yadavas went from Dwaraka. Gopikas came from Vrindavan. Bhishma, Drona, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Pandavas and their consorts, Kunti Devi, Kripacharya, Vidura, Drupada, Shalya, Kashiraja. All were wondering at the sight of Krishna after having reached there. It is one thing to go and see Krishna in Dwaraka. Here, Krishna comes like any other man in a common place where all people assemble freely. It becomes almost like a mela. So you will not find a king distinguished from the others. Normally to see a king, you will have to go to the palace. First of all, get permission from the gatekeepers and a number of entry points, examination points will be there. Here it was not so. They were all very much wonderstruck by seeing Krishna. Krishna received all of them very warmly. He met Nanda and Yashoda also, who Krishna. It was a great reunion, relieving the people a great deal from the pangs of their long separation from Krishna. Devaki embraced Yashoda there. Krishna privately met Gopikas, exchanged a conversation. They had a conversation in which Sri Krishna was begging for excuse for having been away for such a long time and the like. It's a very interesting gospel there also. He also spoke to them in a very nice, endearing manner. Please excuse me for having been separated. We are all under the power and will of a great force in this world. It is Dishta that keeps people together, unites them. It is Dishta that separates them also. The human mind, when it fosters unflinching devotion to God, that unflinchingness of the mind, which is a mind's quality, this is what leads to fulfillment. The object part disappears after some time. It's only necessary in the initial stages to have devotion, the devotional clinging to. When the devotion has become a quality, a character, an enrichment in your mind, you don't require the object at all. That was an occasion when Draupadi happened to meet all the wives of Krishna. So she started inquiring from everyone how their married life with Krishna was. And each of them started speaking. Everyone had to present something in the way of a distinct, inseparable fondness that she felt for Krishna. So it was a great narration from every one of them. After bathing in the holy waters, they started resting under the trees. Are you hearing me? Krishna and the others, all these great people, emperors, kings, whatnot, everybody was there. You know, after taking the bath, having some food, etc., there are no resting places for so many people. All of them have gone there. Maybe in Semanta Panchakam, in that particular occasion, I don't think so many people had ever assembled either earlier or even later. So where is the facility for all of them? So they started lying comfortably in the shades of trees.